that the greatest distraction that will create the most fear in the collective as time unfolds is the black box. And the black box is, of course, today your phone or your computer and what emanates from it and the frequencies that are radiating through it and the images that are received by it. And so if you disengage from that box and you take an inventory around what your experience is, regardless of the black box, and notice what is in your experience, you may find out that a good portion of your experience is still the same in many regards as it was, or that you are in a harmonized place. Welcome. I am Kelly Kolodny. People call me the Angel Lady. I channel the Archangel Raphael. And every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we open up to our community to ask the Archangel Raphael spontaneous and universal questions and see what comes up and get a pulse on what's happening energetically at this now moment in the world and in the universe. So I'm going to channel and bring in Archangel Raphael. The way that I do that is I close my eyes. My hands kind of move around a bit back and forth. I will say hello, very much like that. And that gives you guys an opportunity, wherever you are in the world or whoever's listening to this, to just say hello right back. And that's how you energetically attune to Raphael's frequency as it's coming through me. And then we will open it up to the audience. Sometimes Raphael has an opening message, sometimes not. In terms of announcements, the light code of the violet flame. So this is the violet flame. And this is Saint Germain. For those of you who are familiar with him, he's sitting in the accelerator chair, if you see that energy there. He's deeply connected to Mount Shasta. He's an ascended master. I'm sure most of you are familiar with his frequency and with the violet flame as a tool for transmutation and transformation. But the energy that's been coming in for us around this light code is actually deeply connected with the heart flame and igniting passion and transforming the violet flame almost itself. Meaning that not that the violet flame is outdated, but that new information in alignment with that frequency is coming online. And it too is going through its own transition and its own ascension. So some of the beautiful channeled information that came through so long ago at Mount Shasta and in Telos, that's so beautiful in regard to the violet flame and the ascended masters, is sort of upgrading. And so we're going to be receiving transmissions around what that is. And we're going to be delving deep into the center of our heart and going inside and connecting not just with the ascended masters that carry such a beautiful qualities and energies and information, but also some very deeply feminine aspects that reside in the crystal core of the earth that will be coming up, that we'll be meeting and working with, and igniting flames of light in our heart and receiving these qualities and then will be pumped through, in a sense, our bloodstream to truly awaken our light body as we're going through this awakening process on a biological level. It's the next upgrade. And every time we go through these transmissions for a period of time, and each code just keeps up in the ante in a sense, right? It keeps supporting us into coming into more light in our body, transcending old trauma, densities, patterns, emotions, and becoming clearer and more conduits of love and light. So that starts on Monday. And for those of you who haven't been in a code with me before, we do it for 3 full weeks. It's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for 3 weeks with me. And then there's 3 coaching classes with Casey. So there's a total of 11 classes that run from 9 to 10 in the morning. And usually we go a little over time because I always have a lot of information to share. But if you can't make a class, it's recorded and then you can listen to the replay. So if your heart is feeling called to that code and you want to be there, we would love to welcome you into our community and have you with us. And if it's not resonating with you, that's perfectly fine as well. So I'm just sharing what we're up to. All right, so with that, I am going to channel and bring in the energies and see. Let's just pull one quick card for the frequency of the day. Let's just see what's going on. What do we get? Oh gosh. Okay, interesting. Council of Light, soul contracts, clearing and working with contracts of people that are showing up. And sometimes when that happens, those are old family ties of things that are coming up for healing. But also it can be that you just pass somebody on the street and that you had that like you had in your destiny to come across and you kind of clear something. So it's a big clearing day. And let's see what else we get. Oh, forgiveness. Okay, this is making sense. So moving into forgiveness for releasing dysfunctional energy. So dysfunctional energy, it can be with strangers and situations showing up. It can also be with deep ties with those in your monad family or spiritual family, of really moving into a place of deep forgiveness and clearing. Okay. Ah, and personal power. Speaking your truth and being in authenticity. So it's definitely carrying a theme. So if that's resonating with you, just notice there where you can speak your truth and step into your power in regard to relationships. Perhaps some boundaries might be needed. Okay. All right, super. So let's do this. Just a reminder of the rules. One question per person, no follow-up questions, no personal questions about family members, animals, and situations. These are universal questions. They're not about you. They are something that might be coming up that then will help the collective. All right. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Ow, ow. We are very delighted to be here as always and to attune to all of you and support you in whatever way it is that we can. And so, what is it you are wanting to talk about?
Hi, Raphael. So one thing that I would like to discuss today is that with so many things happening in the news, and is everything all right?
Oh, oh, oh. I am very acquainted with the body and able to move things around now. Yes. What is it?
So with everything that's going on in the news, a lot of people have been very fearful and worried and stirred up, and there are things that seem to rightfully cause that for some individuals. And so my question is, as light workers, where do we focus our attention when we want to be compassionate and aware, but we also want to focus on the light? Where is the balance between spiritual bypassing and action and focusing on the light?
Well, it is that all energies are ramping up and they are amplifying. And from your perspective, in a sense, there is even more polarization, not so much in individuals against one another, but in specific vibrations as a notice between bandwidths. So, if there was perhaps before a gradation in the bandwidth of frequency in which you subtly moved and transitioned from one vibration into another, there has been a greater separation between bandwidths. And so there can be a jolting, as if you are in one frequency and you are held and in a space of beauty and presence and light and blissfulness and peacefulness. And then you may enter into another frequency by your choosing. And as you choose to enter that, because before when you entered it, it was a gradual transition into that vibration, that it was safe, it was okay to be temporarily in that vibration and then perhaps return to another one. You're noticing a much a greater contrast between frequencies. The energy is stronger, it is more amplified. And so it is of great importance to consciously intend regularly, perhaps even at this point right now, as you're moving through such transition, even hourly, to intend where your vibration is and to continue to recalibrate it or return it quickly to the state of its origin in which the spaciousness is that you are wanting to long term reside in, so that you are not caught for too long of periods of time in these other realms or spaces or frequencies. As we have mentioned before, and have said for many years, even through this vessel, that in the late 80s, that the greatest distraction that will create the most fear in the collective as time unfolds is the black box. And the black box is, of course, today your phone or your computer and what emanates from it, and the frequencies that are radiating through it, and the images that are received by it. And so, if you disengage from that box and you take an inventory around what your experience is, regardless of the black box, and notice what is in your experience, you may find out that a good portion of your experience is still the same in many regards as it was, or that you are in a harmonized place or state, but you may recognize some infiltration of frequencies that are coming in to where you are that are related to perhaps information or signals of news events or things that are happening in which you become perhaps engaged in or participate in or are experiencing. And in the experience of whatever that may be is an opportunity as it comes into your field to take action toward it and to bring compassion, to bring love, to bring healing, to bring change, to speak up, to do whatever is needed to align with it so that it begins, whatever is happening, to start to calibrate into the vibration or the pocket that you were originally wanting to hold within your own vision. But if you are simply taking in fear frequency that is emanating from the black box, that is not in your actual pocket of reality, and you are focusing on that, you are aligning, of course, with a vibration of fear. And fear simply claims more fear. And most things that appear fearful or are emanating the vibration of fear began its origin or its seed point from fear itself. and proliferated into something that then is expanding and is growing around the planet. And then it starts to come into experiences to be transmuted back into harmonization, back into compassion. And it brings awareness for an opening in the heart of compassion to rise, or love to rise, or solution or action to be taken. And so it is not either one nor the other to simply ignore the atrocities and the difficulties that what is taking place, or to be complacent around them in which no action is done. But simultaneously, it is of great importance to maintain a state of equilibrium and a frequency of unity and compassion and love, while moving and propelling forward with action steps as they are relating to your experience or called into your vibration. For it is that if you look out at this moment into the sea of the collective, or perhaps walking down the streets of a city, many may have their hand out in begging or seeking support. And it is that there is so much energetically that one can do. And so they give from a place of fullness to those who are asking when and if they can give from a state of compassion, but not from a place of depletion. And so it is important to recognize if it's come into your experience, if it is right in your face, it is beckoning your attention to interact with it, to come into a state of compassion for it, to bring balance where one can. But if you are seeking out fear by scrolling around in what is called the black box, or clicking on headlines that are promoting fear for their own sake and to promote themselves, or from a place of greed in which they suck others into a particular mindset, then you are entering into a frequency and a bandwidth that one can get caught in, and that begins to mirror its reflection of your experience, and you become pocketed in that vibration. And because all of the frequencies are amplifying so rapidly and intensely, it is of great importance when finding yourself, which is natural and human, as many of you do, to notice, to unplug, to disconnect, and to turn to a resonance of love.
Thank you, Raphael. And I think that that's so important. And right now, when these things that m might evoke fear or dread or hopelessness in people present themselves on the news, oftentimes opportunities are given to secure yourself, to insure yourself, to make a donation. And so my question is, with those things that are online that profit from your fear, or we're not certain where things are going or how things are handled. How do we have discernment in something like that when so much of what we do today is done through the black box, as you call it? How do we handle that?
Well, your black box will become increasingly deceptive. And so it will be how you are able to perceive frequency and the resonance of the living intelligence behind what is being projected, and the vibration in which it is carrying within its own beating heart. And so we have said, and will repeat and say again, that we highly encourage you to attune to that in which is biological and not mechanical, that in which has breath and beating heart, that in which its impulse comes from source itself, and the expression of it and you interact in a way in which you are connected within the quantum of information that is coming from a place that is received within the heart center and not simply within the mind. For it is that there can be deception in the repeating of energies and information to feed upon the mind, or to convince, or to play upon, or to give the mind what it is seeking or wanting to appease the ego, or to allow another to feel secure in the truth in which they think is true in being said to them. And so it is extraordinarily important to practice the opening of the pineal gland, the opening of the heart, the attunement to nature, to the feeling of energies and frequencies, and to work with those vibrations in relationship to how they feel and resonate within your own being. And if they are perpetuating fear or predicting outcomes or timelines that yet have not come to play or to be unfolded, we encourage you to perhaps step back a bit and to observe, to go into your heart, to feel inside, and to remember that every single thing that you are truly seeking the answer for, the understanding to, it is actually truly in your heart. It is available to you through the stillness and the emptiness in that space. And so this will be a skill that will be required as time moves forward in a rapid pace for you to hone in on and to pay attention to, and will be one that where many things within your schools will be eliminated, are not necessary any longer to be taught. The frequency bandwidth of connecting with different vibrations and discerning them through the living intelligence that resides within will be a skill set that will become invaluable.
Thank you, Raphael. And Joy in our chat just said that the black box is calling us to level up in discernment and wholeness, that it's a beautiful gift. And on that question, on that comment there, which I really love, I just wanted to ask, since discernment is so important and you talk about discerning between frequencies, what can someone start to do who feels like that they can feel different tones, but they don't always trust their discernment? How can we step into a deeper amount of trust when it comes to our own discernment, and at the same time not become um, hyper vigilant to the extent where we're just blocking everything out, where we're still open to possibilities?
Oh, it is very important, yes, to be open, to listen, to attune, to feel alive, to be free, to connect. But it will be more increasingly important as time passes to utilize your senses to be able to touch one another, see one another, feel one another, connect, hear, be outside, attune to the senses of the human body in these ways that are interacted in a more organic form. And so to remain open in your heart is essential, and not to block yourself off from things, but to continue to recognize that what is occurring now is moving so rapidly fast, and the energies are amplifying so much that where you, and you have heard of this for a long time, put your energy and attention will amplify, especially within the rhythms of the actual black box as well. The algorithms, perhaps, is what you would call them. And they begin to feed back to you and mirror your attention. And then you begin to amplify and sit within a sphere of an energetic field that holds that pocket of frequency, and others holding that same pocket of frequency within the fabric of your reality begin to merge with you, and you begin to connect into a collective neighborhood of consciousness. And so it is essential to remain open, but to remember that you are the master of your creator, and the importance of your attention and your focus upon wherever it is that you are focusing, knowing that that continues to mirror back to you that experience.
Thank you so much, Raphael. So one other thing that I wanted to just come back to, because I started asking about how do we know if we're spiritually bypassing or doing the spiritual work. Could you just let us know what spiritual bypassing is and what it looks like and how we can tell if that is what we are doing rather than doing the real work?
Ah, it is denial of what is truth or experience or reality, hiding from what is needed, perhaps at times, to be seen or transmuted or to bring love to, and which one does not want to face. And so you can hide for a period of time and sometimes for quite a long time until that reality comes knocking at your door, forcing you to be faced with it. And so the bypassing is denial. But if you are conscious and aware of what is occurring, but then choosing a different reality while taking action toward the healing and the creation of unity and bringing balance to perhaps that in which you are witnessing is discordant, that is different than spiritually bypassing. However, there are individuals who might be perceived as spiritually bypassing, but are literally at such a high frequency that they are simply in a complete state of bliss within their field, radiating out a harmonic vibration based on their disciplinary actions within their own energetic field to maintain a sense of spiritual practice and diligence that allows them to maintain a vibration that they are not affected, should we say, in any way by outside frequencies that have come into their presence of discordance. For their purpose at this particular time on earth is to maintain through their spiritual practice this resonance to be of service to the planet. And so when one is working for the greater good and its intent is to serve, that is not spiritual bypass, because in that process of serving, often something will or can arise that needs to be perceived, seen, or transmuted in order to transcend a particular way of being, to move into a higher octave, which is different than being in denial of what is needed at any given time, its attention to come back into balance.
All right. Thank you so much, Raphael. So, I just saw one other question in the chat that I wanted to ask before I opened it up to other people, and it's in regards to families that find themselves in estrangements where children aren't talking to their parents or people aren't talking to their siblings, and these families have been finding themselves broken apart where it seems like there isn't any reconciliation on the horizon. What might be the cause of this, and when is it that we can expect these kinds of relationships to come back together if someone is praying for that to happen?
Well, there are two different things that are happening simultaneously. There are processes that are unfolding right now in which the vibrations, as we spoke of in the beginning, are amping up. And in the amplification of them, when one energy is on a very different bandwidth than another, in the past it was easier for the weaving or the intermingling of those two frequencies to come together with some type of commonality, especially that of the bloodline, to allow them to maintain a relationship. But as the energies amplify and the frequencies shift, many are finding themselves and their relationships, whether it was with family or friends or others, changing rapidly because they are simply in different spheres or pockets of frequencies in their process. And yet there can be a yearning or a wanting for healing and mending and merging of those vibrations, especially if there is a loss, in which, of course, is always an opportunity for reflection within each person and their perception and their perspective and their responsibility within the relationship and their behavior to come into accordance to open up a space for healing to take place. But at the same time, there is more and more healing and attunement and understanding and compassion occurring, and ability for others to merge. And simultaneously, although this appears contrary in what we are saying, there are many that simply will not come back into harmonization with one another because they are simply operating literally from their perspective in two different realities that during this particular lifetime have come to an agreement as to the realities in which they will be maintaining themselves in, which do not intersect.
Thank you, Raphael. All right, I'm going to open it up. Go ahead, Tanya. Oh, you're not unmuted. Let me make sure that that's setting. Um, all right, go ahead. Try now.
Got it. Thank you. And thanks for answering my question. My question is about the grids and doing grid work and raising the ley line. Like I live on a ley line. What rituals can we do? Is there anything we can do to help put more love in the grids and the ley lines? Like any actions we can take to help that?
It is your intention and attunement to it. For many of you all around the globe are doing this work that you speak of as grid work, as you are repairing lines of energy that are discordant or have been broken, or energies have interfered with as they are coming back online and into balance. And your relationship to it through your intention and connection to it is supportive, and it is that often you will feel what to do. Perhaps you will bring something, or you will pray, or you will make a sound and chanting or drumming to bring the residents back into line, or you might notice something that needs to be moved or brought back into balance, or a prayer that is to be said, or a water that is to be brought to the space from another space, or an offering that is given to the land and the spirit to come back into harmony and for all things to weave back into balance. And so follow your own intuitive knowing and your own heart center. If you are being guided to a particular place, listen to the land, lay on the land, open your heart, place your body with your heart and your head facing onto the land, attune your heartbeat with the land's beating heart within the womb of the earth herself. Listen to if she is asking for anything, but often is able to repair on her own. But send love from your heart into her heart with the intention that the repair of all ley lines flowing of the telluric energetic fields within the earth and stones are resonating at the frequency that is needed for unity around the globe.
Thank you. And does this help bring in the new earth, doing all this love for the crystals and the earth?
Ah, yes, of course. It is a feeling of resonance between you and the elemental kingdom, and a reconnection, which is essential at this time. But also want you to all recognize that the earth herself is going through this process, and it is not so much that she is needing your assistance as it is of great importance for you to come into resonance again with her for the benefit of the collective to come back into balance so that you may unify together in your healing process as you step into the perception of this new place in which you are entering that is often spoken of as the new age.
Thank you. Thank you. I got chills. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I'm gonna go with Susan. If we could turn on our cameras, that would be great. And then I'll know you're there and I'll be more likely to call on you. All right, go ahead, Susan.
Thank you. Hello, Archangel Raphael and Kelly.
Hello.
Um, hello. My question for you is, as we're raising our vibration into fifth dimension, How will our experience of death and dying change? And will death be a transition in the same manner that it is now?
Well, your fear of it will dissipate because you will recognize your eternal self and your ability to attune to those who perhaps are no longer in density, clothed in matter, in this form, in this dimension. Your capacity to have connection, relationship, and attunement to it will be much stronger than it is now. So that vibration and deep emotion of grief that one experiences in the human experience will have lessened to quite a large degree. But the transition of the dismantling of the physical vessel, the form itself, the living flesh, will always occur. However, it will occur more in alignment with one's will and regard consciously to dismantle it in order to make a transition into a different octave, a different experience, a different planetary system, a different vibration. And the will or the desire in alignment with the soul's unfoldment to perhaps live for longer periods of time without having to move into a state of amnesia and forgetting and it's cycling will be extended. This extension will occur not that long from now, in which there will be a longer genetic lineages that will have the capacity to live and remain in the flesh for longer periods of time and will decide that it is time of their choosing to discard the flesh, the body, in order to transcend somewhere else. And so this will be an evolving process, but the process of leaving behind the body is one that will remain as you continue on your acceleration in your consciousness, because you will not choose or want to always be in the body temple, but will be eager in many regards to explore and to experience other realms and other ways of being.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan George, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Many of us are able to stay calm and without fear in this world of chaos. Though, if we are to rise ourselves collectively, how are the best ways to help the rest of humanity to be more conscious and become unstuck and being able to let go of their fears and angers, besides being our own example of light and love and compassion and having an open heart?
Well, you are already answering your own question as you're wanting something more than the obvious. But it is to be of service in whatever way you can and to take your energy to serve those who find themselves in this state of fear, not only by radiating your own vibration of stillness and presence and a sense of calmness, but to do something physically to support them on some level in a teaching manner, in a serving manner, in a healing manner, in a loving manner. It could be the laying on of hands or the dishing out of soup at a kitchen or the teaching of a child of how to garden. It does not necessarily have to be something super large or expansive because it ripples out, of course, into the field of the collective. but taking time to be on that bandwidth, which is a very expanded and important one to when one is ready and at the state in which you are at this time vibrating of, is to serve.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You. Hannah.
Thank you. My question is similar. I work with a lot of people who are struggling with real physical, dense obstacles, who are also light workers. And I'm just wondering how to help them move through the physicality of the obstacles, even as they are working toward the light, so that they don't have to suffer so deeply. And sometimes I see where they get in their own way, but it's very hard to communicate that because there's almost a defense holding on to the suffering that's historical.
Yes.
Wondering
Well,
how to
there is much in the cellular body of the collective consciousness that is holding trauma, of ancestral trauma and trauma current in this human experience and life trauma from other lifetimes that is surfacing for to be transmuted at this time. And it is the opening and the inviting and the asking in of this higher intelligence of source, of God itself, of the I am that I am presence, to come in with this frequency of love and to transmute these vibrations in the quickening of an eye with the acceptance that it is possible. For much of the heaviness that remains is an unwillingness, although one may appear willing to release, to surrender, to let go, and to hand over that in which is no longer needed. For on some level, it is still serving them in the evolution of their own journey, in which it is important at this time for you in particular not to take on their suffering or feel responsible for their ability to move through what is necessary in their own evolution, but to focus on the transmutation of any denser energies residing within you so that you too may be a mirrored reflection of the harmonization you are wishing to see within another.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Eva.
Hello.
Hello.
My question is about water. You have encouraged us often to be in the water, to bless the water. And through some of the things I've been studying recently about water, this statement that you made earlier today about tuning to the consciousness inside of us instead of outside of us. So much of us is water.
Yeah.
How can we work with the water that is within us to harmonize that water?
We are very delighted that you are attuning to this because we love the water, and the water is evolving much faster than all of you. However, because you are made up of water and you are in relationship to the water, you two all are experiencing this acceleration. But as you drink water that is outside of yourself with prayer and attunement to its vibration, sending it messages as it is consumed into the body of the water, it merges, of course, with all the water that resides within you, sending codes of messages and healing. And the same when you are in the water or you are experiencing the water coming out of a faucet onto your body, and etc. And yet most of you take the water for granted, forget to hold it, forget to talk to it, forget to bless it. That is not something you are forgetting. But most humans to date, a large percentage, perhaps 95%, forget to really communicate with the water. And if just 35% or a bit more than that would daily communicate with the water, you would transition into unity consciousness instantaneously, because you are all connected through the water, and you are all moving the water through the entire planetary system, and all of the water speaks and is communicating to itself. So the droplet that is on the dew in the morning grass is connecting and communicating with the Mediterranean Ocean in the far distant land. And so it is all interconnected. And so when a message of intention and love and harmony and unity of an ascended state is projected through consciousness toward the water, and that message is received and changed within its molecular structure, it is affecting the entire collective body of water. And yet it would require from different pinpoints of consciousnesses all around simultaneously your planet to come into that state of harmonization with the water would have an enormous positive effect in eliminating some intense pockets of very dense portaled energies of places on your planet that are coated with waters that are in a state of discordant frequencies and dis-ease that are disrupting the energetic fields of specific geographical locations, in which then the water would find its way to that place and begin to create a change within the physical bodies of those in these spaces. And this is one of the most potent and powerful tools that you as a collective have, and on an individual level, to make a difference on the planet.
Wow, thank you. Can we sing to it?
Of course.
When we do that, we're singing to our own water, and then we give that water back. Yes.
Yes,
Amazing.
you can sing to the water and receive it. You can sing to the ocean and it will receive it. You can sing to the water going into the cords of one in the hospital in intravenous energies. You can place names of love upon those who are needing healing as liquids are going inside of them. You can pray over the water in the morning when you drink it or your coffee. You may attune to the water in your tub and your rivers, and remember that it comes down through the source, and then it ripples down through the mountains and in the rivers and in the streams and out into the ocean, circulating back. And its circulatory system is sharing the energies and the messages and the frequencies it's received in your glass in the morning around the globe eventually. And so if all of you all over simultaneously begin singing and sending love into the water, this will have a great impact on your planet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. Kim, go ahead.
Hello, sweet Raphael. Thank you for
Hello.
being here.
Uh,
My question is about those of us that are dealing with chronic conditions. I believe that you said in the past that even though we believe that we're healed in the quantum field, we may have to spend some time on the earth plane still dealing with
That's because Carrie's seeing through it. She sees something that you're not seeing.
Hey
It's like
everyone,
at the
let's make
bottom,
sure
I
we're
think she said
muted.
something like be wise, GBC. So it's like,
oops,
all right, she sees that there is.
You.
sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know
Go
why I'm
ahead, start over.
apologizing, but okay. Yeah, so yeah, that we still may have to move with the chronic condition on the earth plane for some time. even though we believe that we're healed on the quantum level. And so just with all the changes with the violet flame and just coming out of the lion gate here, is there any sort of way of moving this forward, moving chronic conditions forward? I know it's sort of a bit redundant, but thank you for answering. I think Kelly is muted there.
We are attuning at this time to your field because we are wanting to do that. And we are wanting you to express for a moment around this chronic illness.
Yes, thank you. For 2 years, I've been suffering with a mysterious illness. None of the doctors know what is happening, and all my tests are coming back normal. So it's a bit of a mystery. I'm a medical mystery, but I'm in a lot of pain, and I believe I'm healed on the quantum level. I believe that I have been healed in the quantum field. Jesus and Mother Mary and a few other ascended masters have appeared to me.
It is asking and requiring for you to believe that you are healed on the physical level in this moment, here, now. And we are wanting you to repeat for the next 41 days. I am fully and completely in wholeness, healed on the physical level now, that the quantum healing that has occurred in the quantum field has descended into my physical body and is mirroring perfection, wholeness, and freedom within my body as I feel vitalized, healed, and whole in this now moment. And so it is, with absolute truth, complete confirmation, and the vow of belief that I am knowing that it is so. And to attune to that vibration within the mirror of your own reflection, spoken out loud every day for the next 41 days. As you are doing that, a disbelief that that is true or that that could be true due to the continuous understanding of the pain you have experienced to date that has given you information otherwise than that, as that arises, which is doubt, which is fear, which is why the pain is appearing. For you to step into your mastery and also to create much stronger boundaries in your experience arises, and you are faced with it, you shall bring love to that. And then continue again the next day and the next day and the next day as you stare deeply into your eyes, recognizing the reflection of any pebbles, any boulders, any stones, any dense energies that are floating up to the surface that do not feel in resonance with the confirmation of the truth in which you are speaking, which doubt is arising, so that you may come now into clarity, into freedom, because the vibration that is being sought here for you to come into alignment with is the energy of freedom. For you are feeling shackled, tightened, weighed down by the pain, and it has taken away your freedom of exploration, of exploring, of experiencing life to its fullest. And so there is a self-punishment that has occurred that requires forgiveness at this time, but it is not conscious within your understanding from a conscious perspective. But through the speaking aloud of this particular wording and affirmation, which of course can be reiterated slightly to align with what appeals and feels in a truth with you, will bring about what is needed for the confirmation of the healing within the quantum field to descend within the physical and wholeness to be restored.
Beautiful. I love you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, Tatiana.
Hi, sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button. Hi, Raphael.
Hello, hello.
Raphael, my question is with reference to the duality between we are currently in a phase of bringing awareness to our powers of manifestations, our creator being capacities. At the same time, I feel there's a lot of awareness around gracefully listening to the guidance of life and listening for hints and signs in nature and our guides and angelic forces such as yourself. The combination of the two, which is the creating through our imaginations and through our visions, and the listening for signs, creates a lot of indecision. How do we find that middle ground between what is ours to create and what is ours to observe for guidance in? Thank you.
Well, it is to come into the intention of what it is you are wanting to feel, to experience, and simultaneously, yes, to surrender to the alignment with the flow state that moves through you, that guides you in the direction for the unfoldment of your highest good. And doing so, trusting in that flow state and trusting in your presence of what you are wanting to create. And so in the creation process, you are always creating from a state of an intent of that or something greater that is in alignment with my highest good. And the unfoldment of that, in which I am asking for clarity through the signs or symbols in the flow state to bring me awareness as to the direction or the movement in order to go forward in. But if there is a lot of fuzziness in the signs or symbol or questioning in them, or I'm not sure if that really was that, then perhaps we invite you to step away from that, because that is more of a seeking for something to guide you rather than it coming in with clarity to show you. And so whether something is showing you because it is an extension of your higher self that is opening up a space in which it is in front of you, guiding you forward, is different than looking for it somewhere. And so begin to feel into, am I seeking out the answer, or is it on its own presenting itself? Is it with strength and clarity really coming into my awareness and into my vision? And begin playing with those two energies of discernment for your capacity for creation and for manifestation in your own mastery to bring forth what you're wanting is extremely in alignment and powerful. And yet you also love to be in the flow state and to attune to nature and to play and to move with the guidance of both of those energies. And they do not need to necessarily be separated, but can come into union in a playful way together for your creation to unfold. And so the only tweaking there is to recognize when you are looking for it rather than it is presenting itself.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, Heather.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, Angel Raphael and Kelly, for all you do for us. My question today is, however much you could tell us about Tartaria. I'm so curious about these architectural magnificent buildings and the times that were before humanity at this time, and who lived in them, who built them, where did they go, where are they now? Are they still part of Earth in places we don't know?
Oh, yes. However, they are not perceived at this time from the perception of your experience, for they are not visible to you, along with many other energies that are not visible, that are, however, coming back online and coming back into your experience, in which there will be many revealings, unfoldings, and discoveries, should we say, of timelines, ancient energies, technologies, buildings, experiences, civilizations that are coming back into awareness. And much will and is continuing to be revealed in now, and will more so very fast and very rapidly, as your technologies will also be changing and bringing awareness, and discoveries will be coming up, and deep changes inside your ocean and its floors, and the revealing of spaces and places. However, it is that this will change the collective in its perception of its origin, who it is, why it is here, where it has come from, where it is going. And so there will be many revelations, should we say, much revealing in regards to much of what you are speaking of. But in addition to your connection with your star sisters and brothers, to your families during the times of Lemuria and Atlantis, and much more, as all of the flooding of these memories, information, understandings, and technologies will be coming in very rapidly, and you will be enfolding them into the collective way of being and thinking.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. And our last question will be Courtney.
Yay, I'm so excited. Hi.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've been thinking a lot about the captive orca whales and captive, very wild things like horses, and particularly horses and whales. And what mankind has done to curb their freedom, perhaps. And I was wondering, to putting your thoughts into these orcas, particularly in these parks that have closed down. It makes me quite emotional, and has for the past couple of months. And I was just curious as to if they are, or if they can escape suffering in a certain way. So we know that they're suffering, but what's the purpose of it? Yeah, that's my, I just feel so bad for them. Thank you.
We understand that many of the animals and the sentient beings, the energies also within the oceans and the whales, yes, are suffering due to the discordant vibrations that arose through fear on your planet, and scarcity that creates havoc within the human collective mind, that drives them to disconnect from their nature, and from the earth, and from all living systems, in an identity or feeling somehow that they are superior. And this has caused great harm to many. Many have left the planet, and from your perspective have become extinct, and many more will continue to do this. As you had heard from the great white lion, as there are very few of the white lion itself on the meridian of the heartland of Africa, they are slowly disappearing as well. And your whales in your waters are losing their song, and your turtles are feeling trapped in the trash, and your horses are bound also, and unable to run wild and free. And so we hear your sadness and feel your pain in relationship to this. It is like a harness of shackles and energy that is closing in on these kingdoms of light that have lost and are feeling and experiencing this pain. But we also want to assure you that they do not feel pain the same way that you experience pain, for it is that the presence of the pain, yes, is present, but it is only in that presence, for they do not think of or worry of the future or dwell on the past, nor hold anger or resentment for those who have caused them this pain, but simply recognize that perhaps their time in this frequency is no longer to be, as they exit and morph into a different octave, vibration, or frequency. And that they actually, many have ascended into the perception of what you think of today as your new earth, awaiting for your arrival to come back to them with a more open and compassionate heart as they feel the weakening of the heart itself on your planet. And this is why I, as Archangel Raphael, as a messenger, have and do descend into form to speak through vessels such as this, to remind humanity to return to the beating heart of your planet and to listen to her winds and her waters and her fires as they are growing, as an example for you to pay attention for her imbalance that has come deeply and greatly from the severing and the remembering of your relationship and connection to her and all of her kingdoms. And so there is no direct purpose to the suffering that is occurring other than to perhaps the opening of eyes and hearts in the perception of returning back to the ways of the indigenous ones and releasing the frequencies of greed and need of deep and profound wanting for more and more consumption, that through that consuming continuously, that the recycling of that energy creates toxins, poisons, and trash that affects all of your systems that are clogged now with these vibrations. But as quick as through time of history this has accumulated, it too can be healed and cleared. For the earth is vital and strong and powerful, and she will transmute these frequencies, and her ecosystem will return to balance, and the animals will flourish and come back into harmony in a quickening of a moment when the consciousness of the humans and the hearts open and return to the Great Mother. And so it is in the times of the codes and the frequencies in which I carry and bring to all of you at this time that we enter down into the womb of the mother, and the primordial codes and the energies that reside in her water and the frequencies of her deep memory, as you return to the beating of her heart that resides within yours, and the opening to the galactics and the core of the star beings, and they seed within your frequency the remembering of the union that resides within all systems, comes back online. You awaken to your interaction and connected, not you directly in the asking of the question, but you as a collective whole, into the remembering that as they suffer, too shall you, and that it is for your interest to open your hearts and return back into balance with them. And so do not fear as they are lost or disappearing, for they are entering into a state of beauty and bliss through their transition, awaiting an opening space in which you too shall transcend into. And yet, if you are able as a collective to return to balance and a quieting of the movement that is constant upon your planet into the stillness and the space, the earth herself and the trees and the blossoming of your forest, your Amazon and her lungs and her breath shall return, and her waters will become clear and fresh again. For it will not take long for her to restore herself if only you can pull back for a moment, sit upon her, open your hearts and listen, and attune to the memories and the ancient teachings and prophecies of the indigenous ones and the beings of light that have shared their wisdom and knowledge to this date, and listen to their call and hear what they are asking, and abide by it in every waking thought and breath and action, in knowing that it is only through this opening within all of your hearts and the transmutation of these old ways of separation and density, in the need for a constant need for more, that this balance shall return. For your children are here to return with their frequencies, as the new ones are coming in with gifts and understanding, as their compassion and light in resonance with the vibration, as long as not attached to that of the mechanical intelligence that is rising on your planet, you will give birth to a new world. And so with that, I leave to you much love and many blessings from the ascended realms and the angelic legions of light. I love you. Much blessings today and always, and good day. Oh, all right. Okay. All right, everyone.
Love, love, love.
Thank you so much for joining. I so appreciate you being here. And I'll see you guys if you want to be in the light code on Monday. We're going to go into the core of the Mother Earth and the galactic core and in the heart and open our hearts and bring in more light. Have a beautiful weekend. Sending much love and light. Take good care, and I'll see you guys soon. All right. Bye, everyone.